Virgo, I need to say something to you right now that, I mean, with complete sincerity and zero exaggeration, I wish I was you. Not in the casual throwaway way that phrase gets used, in the specific, I have seen what is surrounding your life right now, and I genuinely wish I was standing where you are standing way. Because what I am reading in your energy is the kind of thing that makes me want to set down everything else and just describe it to you as precisely as I can. The kind that makes me want to make sure you actually understand what is happening around you. What is building? What is converging? What the next chapter of your life actually looks like from the outside looking in, because from the inside, from your own vantage point within your own experience, you may not have the full picture yet. You may be seeing the ordinary surface of your days without yet being able to see what is assembling underneath that surface. What is gathering? What is preparing to break through? I can see it. And what I see is the beginning of the luckiest era of your life. Not a lucky moment, not a fortunate development in an otherwise unchanged landscape. An era, a sustained, extended, deeply felt period of time in which the conditions around your life are so consistently favorable, so repeatedly and reliably inclined in your direction, that the experience of moving through it is going to feel fundamentally different from anything you have experienced before. And it is starting now. Let me tell you what lucky actually means, because I think it is one of the most misunderstood concepts in the language of possibility, and I want to reclaim it into something that is actually useful to you right now. Lucky does not mean that the ordinary rules of cause and effect have been suspended on your behalf. Lucky does not mean that things happen to you without any relationship to who you are and what you have done and what you have built. Lucky means something much more specific. Lucky means that the investment you made in yourself and in your integrity and in the quality of how you show up in the world is now meeting a moment in which the external conditions are perfectly positioned to receive that investment and return it multiplied. Lucky is what happens when preparation and timing find each other. When the work you did in the seasons that felt thankless and unrewarded suddenly encounters a window in which that work is not just visible, but specifically valued, specifically sought, specifically compensated in ways that match its actual worth rather than the discounted version the previous circumstances were offering. That is what lucky is. And that is what is happening around you right now. Your preparation has been thorough, more thorough than you probably give yourself credit for, more complete than it feels from inside the experience of having done it, and the timing has arrived. The window has opened. And the meeting of your preparation with this particular window is producing something in the energy around your life that I genuinely have not seen for a very long time. Something that when I sit with it makes me want to be you, makes me want to be the one standing where you are standing, about to walk into what you are about to walk into. Let me tell you what an era of luck actually feels like from the inside, because I think having a picture of it before it fully arrives is going to help you recognize it as it unfolds rather than missing it by expecting it to look like something different. An era of luck does not feel like a constant stream of dramatic wins. It does not feel like fireworks every day or grand gestures from the universe or a continuous parade of obvious good fortune that announces itself clearly as luck. It feels subtler than that and simultaneously more profound. It feels like ease, like the particular quality of movement that happens when resistance drops away and you discover that the effort you have been applying to things can now produce results that are disproportionate to what the same effort used to produce. Like pushing against a door that has been stuck for a long time and suddenly finding that it is no longer stuck. That the same pressure that produced nothing before is now opening something completely. It feels like timing working with you rather than against you. Like showing up to things at the right moment without having planned to show up at the right moment. Like being in the right place repeatedly in ways that accumulate into something that cannot be explained by calculation or strategy alone. It feels like people responding to you with a warmth and a generosity and a yes that exceeds what you would have predicted based on previous experience of asking for the same things. It feels like the world becoming cooperative in a way it was not before, like the friction that used to accompany everything you tried has quietly, without announcement, dissolved. And in its absence, you discover that you are capable of moving at a speed and with a grace. That the friction was preventing you from accessing. That is what lucky feels like from the inside. And that is what you are stepping into right now. I want to tell you specifically what areas of your life this era is going to touch. Because lucky in general is less useful than lucky in particular. And what I am reading is particular enough that I want to be as precise as I can. The first area is financial. And I want to address this one directly without softening it or hedging it into vagueness because I think you deserve the directness. Money is moving towards you in this era in a way that is going to feel different from money that arrived before. Different, not just in quantity, though the quantity is going to be notable. Different in quality. In the specific feeling of money that arrives as recognition rather than money that arrives as survival. Money that says your work is worth this. Rather than money that says here is enough to continue. There is a financial development approaching that is going to recalibrate your understanding of what is financially available to you. Not temporarily, as a new baseline. Something that arrives and then stays. That changes the floor of your material experience in a way that does not reset back to the previous level. The floor rises and stays risen. And what becomes possible from the new floor is genuinely different from what was possible before. This is the financial dimension of the lucky era. And it is one of the reasons I wish I was you. The second area is relational. And here I want to spend real time because this is the dimension I feel most specifically and most warmly in your energy right now. The lucky era brings people, the right ones, not more people, better ones, people who are specifically suited to meeting you where you actually are rather than where it is convenient for them to meet you. People who bring something real, who add rather than drain, who make your life larger rather than more complicated, who see you accurately and respond to what they see with something genuine. There is a connection coming in this era that I feel very specifically. A person who is going to enter your life through a channel you would not have predicted. and who is going to produce in you the particular feeling of finding something you did not realize you had been missing. Not because they complete you, you are already complete, but because they add a dimension to your experience of life that changes the texture of the ordinary, makes the daily feel richer, makes the ordinary moments carry more weight, makes you more yourself rather than a managed version of yourself. That person is part of the lucky era, and their arrival is one of the things that is going to make the era feel lucky in the deepest sense. Not because luck delivered them, because the conditions you have created through who you have become are finally producing the kind of connection that who you have become deserves. The third area is professional or purposeful, or the dimension of your life where what you do meets what you are meant to be doing. And in the lucky era, this dimension shifts. Something aligns that has been slightly misaligned. Something clicks that has been almost clicking. Something that you have been doing with skill, but without the full sense of being exactly in the right place, suddenly produces that sense. Not because the work changes necessarily, because the context around the work changes. The audience for it changes. The recognition of it changes. The opportunities that flow from it change. In the lucky era, your work finds its right level. The level at which it is met with the response that actually matches its quality, not the discounted response. Not the well, this is nice response. The response that tells you what you are doing matters, that it reaches people in real ways, that the particular combination of skills and perspective and way of engaging with your work that is uniquely yours is specifically valuable to people who need exactly what you carry. That alignment, the alignment of your work with its right context and its right audience and its right level of recognition, is one of the defining features of the era you are entering. And once it clicks, it does not unclick. It stays, and everything that flows from that staying builds on itself in the compounding way that only things in their right place can build. I want to talk about something that I think is the most important quality of a lucky era and that most people do not think about in advance. The way it changes your relationship with yourself, because the external developments, the money and the people and the professional alignment, those are real and they matter. But what changes most profoundly in a period of genuine sustained luck is internal, is the quiet, progressive, deeply felt shift in what you believe you are capable of, what you believe you deserve, what you believe is available to you as a baseline feature of your life rather than as an occasional exception that requires explanation. In a lucky era, you stop being surprised by good things, not because you take them for granted, because you have integrated the reality that good things are available to you, that they belong in your life, that their arrival is not an anomaly requiring justification, but a natural expression of who you are and what you have built. That shift in internal baseline is the most lasting gift of the lucky era, because the external developments can fluctuate, circumstances change, people move through your life, financial landscapes shift, but the internal knowing, the bedrock certainty of someone who has experienced an extended period of being genuinely met by life that does not fluctuate. That becomes part of the foundation. Part of how you move through every subsequent season, part of who you are when the lucky era eventually transitions into something else. You carry it forward. The knowing, the certainty, the I have been met by life before, and I know it is capable of meeting me again. That is what the era produces in you permanently. And it is worth every single thing. It is going to feel like, let me speak to something that I think needs to be said directly and without the softening that would make it easier to dismiss. You have earned this, not in the transactional sense where good behavior is rewarded on a schedule. In the real sense, in the sense that what you have invested in yourself and in the quality of how you show up and in the maintenance of your integrity through seasons that did not reward integrity, particularly visibly, has produced a version of you that is genuinely ready for what is now arriving. Ready in the specific sense that you can receive it without immediately pushing it away, without minimizing it into something smaller than it is, without the unconscious self-sabotage that redirects good things away from people who have not yet done the internal work of believing they deserve them. You have done that work quietly, in private, without anyone handing you credit for doing it, without anyone confirming that the work was producing something real. You did it anyway. And the doing of it has prepared you for a level of receiving that your previous self would not have been able to fully access, would have redirected, would have qualified, would have found a reason to make smaller or less certain or more conditional than it actually was. The current version of you can hold it, can receive it at full size, without immediately finding the catch, without the footnote that explains why this good thing probably comes with an asterisk. You are ready for the full version, unasterisked, unconditioned, completely yours. And the lucky era is the full version. Arriving, I want to address the how of this, because knowing that a lucky era is beginning is one thing. Knowing how to actually be inside it, how to move through it in a way that captures the full scope of what it offers rather than only a portion of it, is something different. And there are specific things I want to tell you about how to be in this era. The first is this: move toward the things that appear. In a lucky era, the opportunities do not wait for you to be completely ready before presenting themselves. They arrive when the timing is right, which may be slightly ahead of when you feel completely prepared, slightly outside your current comfort with certainty. And the instinct is going to be to wait until you feel more ready, more certain, more qualified, more sure that what is appearing is really what it appears to be. In a lucky era, that instinct costs you. Not everything, but the early advantage of things, the part where moving towards something while it is freshly presented produces better outcomes than moving toward it after it has been sitting. Move toward what appears. In the lucky era, moving toward things is what the luck responds to. It is interactive. It rewards the willingness to step before complete certainty arrives. And in this era, your stepping is going to be met by something worth having stepped toward. The second thing about how to be in this era is this: express gratitude for the small things as they arrive, not as a spiritual practice, not as a technique for attracting more, as a genuine, real-time acknowledgement that the small good things are not nothing, that they are the early evidence of the larger shift, the advanced presence of the era announcing itself before the full arrival. And when you acknowledge the small things, when you actually register them rather than letting them pass unnoticed in the rush toward the bigger things you are hoping for, something happens in your nervous system. Your system updates its read on what is available, on what is normal, on what it can expect from the world moving forward. And a nervous system that has updated toward abundance is a nervous system that does not unconsciously redirect the larger things away, that can hold more, that has the internal capacity to receive the full scope of what the lucky era is offering. Notice the small things, register them, let them count, because they are counting whether you notice them or not. The third thing is perhaps the simplest and perhaps the hardest: stay in your life. What I mean by that is this: lucky eras do not reward people who are so focused on the horizon that they become unavailable to what is arriving in their actual present, who are so oriented toward the big thing they are waiting for that they miss the real thing that is already here. The lucky era is not only in the future of your life, it is in the now of it, in the ordinary Tuesday, in the unremarkable conversation, in the seemingly coincidental encounter, in the small opening that does not look like a door, until you step toward it and find that it opens into something significant. Stay present. Stay in your actual days. Stay available to what is arriving in the ordinary texture of your ordinary life. Because the extraordinary in a lucky era almost always wears the clothing of the ordinary at first. It does not announce itself. It does not put up a sign that says, "This is the one." It simply arrives in the form of the next thing. And if you are present enough to notice the next thing, if you are available to it rather than looking past it towards something larger, you will recognize it. Not because it announces itself, because you are paying the kind of attention that allows recognition to happen. Let me close with the thing that I most want you to carry from this reading into the era that is beginning. The thing that I think is the truest and most useful thing I can leave you with. The lucky era is not something that is happening to you. It is something that you produced through the sustained, quiet, unglamorous, mostly unwitnessed work of becoming someone who is ready for it, who can hold it, who can navigate it without immediately redirecting it away through the mechanisms of self-doubt or unworthiness, or the learned habit of making things smaller before they can disappoint. You became someone who can receive this, and the becoming is the real luck, not the circumstances that are now arranging themselves around you, not the money that is moving toward you, not the people who are about to enter your world, not the professional alignment that is arriving. Those are all real, and they are all coming, and they are all going to be as significant as I have described. But they are the reflection of the luck, not the luck itself. The luck itself is you, the version of you that exists right now, that has been shaped by everything you survived and everything you chose and everything you refused to let break you into something less than what you were built to be. That is the luckiest thing in this entire reading. Not what is coming for you, who you became, so that it could, and I mean it when I say, I wish I was you. Not because of what is arriving, because of what you already are. Walking into the era that was always being built for you. Go receive it, all of it, without the asterisks, without the footnote, without the managed version of joy that keeps one hand back just in case. Both hands, full presence, complete openness, the luckiest era of your life starts now.